Meet Rajat and Roshni. In 2019, they were college students navigating a long-distance relationship between Navi Mumbai and Kalyan. To escape the mounting pressure of their upcoming exams, they established a routine. Whenever they needed a break, they'd meet up at a quiet park inside a newly developed residential society in Kalyan. But one evening, that routine broke. Roshni called Rajat, demanding he meet her at the park immediately. When he tried to push the plans to the next day, her tone shifted. In a cold, unfamiliar voice, she asked, "Are you coming, or should we take her with us?" Rajat rushed to the park. When he arrived, Roshni was waiting, but acting strangely. She suddenly shoved him away and began scanning the empty park, as if tracking an invisible threat. She insisted they leave immediately. But by the time they sat down at their usual dinner spot, Roshni had zero memory of the incident, asking Rajat why they were even there. Rajat initially wrote this off as severe academic stress, but a fractured memory and conversations with empty space pointed toward a psychological break that was rapidly escalating out of his control. A few weeks later, with their exams finally over, they booked a private villa to decompress. While they were having dinner in their room, Rajat casually asked Roshni about her recent trip back home. Instantly, Roshni stood up and killed the music. She turned her back to him, and when she finally looked over her shoulder, her face had contorted into an expression of pure malice. Assuming he'd offended her, Rajat stepped forward to give her a hug. Instead, she hit him with a burst of kinetic force that launched him backward, crashing hard against the villa wall. Panicking, Rajat reached for his phone. Operating on pure instinct, he blasted an audio recording of the Hanuman Chalisa. The moment the religious chant filled the room, Roshni froze perfectly still in her tracks. Medical episodes don't pause for prayers. The audio track acted as a strict restraint, proving to Rajat that he wasn't dealing with a neurological condition. His girlfriend's body had been commandeered. Pinned by the audio, the entity finally spoke. Using Roshni's vocal cords, the spirit introduced itself as Roshni's great-aunt, a deceased relative whose name was strictly forbidden from being spoken in their family home in Benares. She revealed a truth the family had spent decades suppressing. She was Roshni's biological mother. Years earlier, she had fallen in love with a man named Anand. When her family rejected him because he belonged to a lower caste, the couple eloped, started a new life, and eventually had a daughter they named Shagun. The encounter shifted focus here. A silenced mother had forcefully returned to provide a victim's testimony about her own murder. Missing her relatives, the mother had reached out to her father. Feigning total forgiveness, he invited her, Anand and Bidi Shagun, back to their ancestral home in Benares, welcoming them with 2 days of warm hospitality. On the evening of the third day, the trap snapped shut. Hearing her husband scream from a back corridor, the mother rushed in to find Anand bleeding out on the floor. Her father and her brother had ambushed him with a sword. When she lunged at her father to defend her husband, her brother struck her in the head with an iron rod. She fell unconscious. The family dragged her body out back and buried her in the dirt while she was still breathing. Inside the house, 6-month-old Shagun had slept through the slaughter. The family spared the baby, but immediately began dismantling her existence. To hide the child from the inevitable haunting, they consulted a priest and legally changed her name to Roshni. Her uncle and his wife then raised her alongside their own kids, completely fabricating her parentage. The family constructed an elaborate, decades-long lie to cover up a caste-based honor killing. By burying the mother alive, they bound her spirit directly to the daughter they were trying to hide. The spirit explained that the park in Kalyan was the site of multiple past murders, inhabited by hostile entities. She had been scanning the area and pulling Roshni away that night, specifically to protect her from those malicious presences. This diagram maps the spirit's retaliation against the family tree. The target icon represents the grandfather. A heavy stone recently crushed his shoulder, a calculated strike that narrowly missed being a fatal head wound. As the focus shifts to the uncle, you can see why he has avoided a similar attack. Aware of the haunting, he wears a heavily enchanted amulet, projecting a spiritual barrier that the mother cannot breach. There is zero random chaos here. The entity operates on a strict binary code: absolute protection for her daughter and precise retaliation against her murderers. Knowing she meant no harm to the couple, Rajat negotiated a truce. He gave the spirit his explicit word that he would always ensure Roshni's happiness, and in exchange, the entity relinquished control of the body. The pact held. Roshni safely completed her exams. She and Rajat parted ways amiably, and she recently married happily, oblivious to the bloodline she carries or the invisible bodyguard behind her. But back in Benares, the men who swung the sword enjoy no such peace. They are aging rapidly, locked inside their ancestral home, aware that they share the space with an immortal witness to their crime. Attempting to bury an atrocity in the backyard does not erase it. It only guarantees that the perpetrators will be haunted until their final breath.